guys, welcome back for another video of restarting this year. Actually, it's not another video. We're starting a new year. This is December 26th, so we are closing the year out, but getting ready for the 2022 race season. Then you can see the 55 is on the lift behind me. So running over a quick checklist of everything we have to do to get ready for Sick Week, which is like the first week of February. Season starts early for us this year. I don't even have my full race schedule finalized. I don't have anything finalized at this point, but it starts so early, we gotta get going. So a couple exciting things. There is a new engine for the 55 in the works. I don't have the parts ordered yet, but the plans are being made. So engine and transmission is going to come out of that eventually and go back in the Nova. So that's a bonus. But that's not gonna happen by Sick Week. So in order to get ready for Sick Week, we have to pull the engine. We are going to freshen it up. I don't know if you saw in the last video, but we are going to be upping compression. We're going to be, I get it loud, that's what I was pausing for. So anyways, freshening engine, we'll go over all that. We're going to freshen and upgrade the transmission. We got a new gear set for that. And then the rear end, we have to kind of rebuild that as well. So I'm gonna go over here and check in with Dad and show you what's up for the day. Okay, wishbone out.
It's not broken, cracked, scratched, dirty.
Yeah, it looks like you just built it actually. Somebody did a great job cleaning that.
Yeah, they did.
It's me. I did that. So under here, we have, look at that QA1 carbon fiber drive shaft. I don't know if you guys remember that when the car was being built, but
one of my favorite pieces in the car.
I know, I like looking under here and seeing it. So I don't know if you guys even saw. You probably didn't see on YouTube. So under here was slaughtered with dirt. Like this, I'll show flash picture right here. It was disgusting. Very, very, very bad. Lots of miles. But right before PRI and SEMA, hey, you guys haven't even seen under here. I didn't even think about this. Went through and cleaned everything. Dad spent a lot of time on paint and detail and things like that, polishing headers and stuff like that. I went through with brushes and soapy water and detailer. Lots of others. Detailer was used in the process of this and cleaned up everything. So this was slaughtered with dirt. We also went through and cleaned up wiring, like tucked everything in here. This will eventually change, but cleaned up pretty nice. I didn't even think about it. They did not see how dirty it was when it came back.
We never put it on the lift was the main reason.
Yeah, but I mean, it just wasn't on here. So going over the rear end.
Well, it's one of those things, everything about it was rushed so bad, but I thought I had shims because it's a 10-bolt pinion. You know, I've got 10-bolt pinions in my other cars, but they're Moser. This is a Strange Ultra case. So being a Strange Ultra case, little did I realize that that's got its own bolt pattern and its own shims. So when it came down to putting the gears in it, I had to get it done. I had to put the pinion shim back in it that was in it with the previous gears, which it was brand new.
From Jake.
Yep, Jake donated that piece, and all we had to do is change the gear ratio, but it wasn't right. And I knew it wasn't right, but we had no choice.
It was one of those things too where we had, I think that was one of those things, we relied a lot on Summit and their great overnight shipping, but they did not have that at Summit. It wasn't in stock. There was something, and I think we had about probably, I don't know, 24 hours that we needed it.
Yeah, it was just a pure time thing. I knew when we put it together that it wasn't going to be right, but it lasted for 3,000 miles.
3,000 street miles.
Yeah, I mean, we'll see what it looks like when it comes out.
So it's a little black oil goes here. I'm trying to get up here and see it.
I'm about to take it down. Well, no, I'm not.
So little black, but you said there was a little bit of metal.
Well, I didn't see metal.
Oh.
That's what makes the black is the metal.
I thought you were saying when you pulled the plug out.
If there's metal, it's ground up super fine.
We are going to freshen that up, so we'll pull it out and see what it actually looks like. But when we were on race week and we're trying to decide if we're gonna freshen or not, I crawled up and I was able to look in from the fill cap, and the gears weren't that bad. So anyways, we'll check it out and show you. So that's the project for today. And then we're going to just start pulling stuff apart, getting it ready. As you can see here, it's not like a knife edge type sharp going on.
It doesn't look like.
It's not bad looking, really.
You can't even see the wear. See,
I don't even feel the wear either.
Well, I can right there on that back edge of that gear. So, you know, it's just,
right there. Yeah, if you go that way, you can feel it.
you could possibly quieten it up by re-shimming it, but we're not going to.
So, as you can see, it was very noisy, but it wasn't bad. Bad wear. It's not a big deal to pull it out and freshen it up. Got the gear set already, so pop that up there. Second. That way it's nice, fresh and new for 2022. I think I said 2021 season earlier.
Oh, you're wrong. It's moving, but it doesn't want to. It's got, I'm gonna cheat. I'm gonna show you how to do that, because it's really, that Loctite makes a big difference.
Aha! Fire.
Fire always fixes everything.
Mika's eating snacks up there.
Mika, did your sugar daddy come?
Her bitch.
You said it. No, it's hilarious.
Thank you.
Merry Christmas, y'all.
Yeah, yesterday I thought we'll get up tomorrow and go to Tulsa because it's Sunday. Gonna go to the zoo. I kind of wanted to go to the zoo, and it all seemed really good until last night. I'm not able to sleep because I got so much to do. And it's like, I don't have time to go to the zoo. So today does not seem like the day after Christmas.
Felt like Sunday yesterday. Ooh.
Look at the difference.
Much more better.
Now I can probably use my Impactual on it. I may have to heat it one more time because I didn't get very hot. Yeah, put a little more on there.
All right, just imagine they're gonna continue doing that until it comes off, but anyways.
in it, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, here. Okay. Put back, and I'm gonna lower it so we're not so high in the sky. Is anything still connected?
I don't see anything.
Okay. Let's roll it over. How's this setup going?
Going very well.
Is it almost there?
Just put it together and start shimming, running it when checking the grease pattern. I gotta find a spanner wrench.
Okay, so this is almost ready to be shimmed. This will be ready to go back in today.
Yep.
And then transmission is out. Mike is here helping. We just got this out, so this will be ready to be freshened up with the new gear set, which...
It really doesn't even need freshening up.
No, because it's got fresh clutches in it.
Yeah, clear. The fluid was clear. It's just about changing the gear set mainly.
So just checking everything and making sure it's good. I feel like the less you touch, the better, because then you run into less seals and things like that. And
Yeah, I'm not taking any of that stuff apart. It's just, unless it needs it, and I don't think it does.
Yeah, so actually this is pretty good, because it was not that long ago that, I mean, it was literally on race week that it's got fresh clutches. And we got a new 210 gear set here. Ordered this, and I ordered this from Jake a couple months ago. So that's here and ready.
Hopefully we're doing the right thing with the gear change. I'm sure some of the internet experts will let us know. It's all per application. Well, I mean, it's a heavy car, and it's a big tire. It's got wheelie bars, so we can technically use a lower first gear. The transmission was geared for my little 315 drag radial before, because you want to keep the front end down. We got, as some people call it, sissy sticks. So we've got wheelie bars that we can keep the front end down with now. We may end up going back. We don't know yet. But right now, we're going to test the theory.
Yeah. And then today, Mika decided to come to work. And interestingly enough, on December 26th, 8 years ago, we went and picked Mika up. Little puppy Mika. Do you have any words? Okay. Coming apart quite well. So underneath the car, everything is out. You can see transmission's out from in here. So coming up here to engine, we're going to start taking all of these things off and get ready to pull the motor out. So I don't like the disassembly part. I'd rather just be going back together. But getting ready to drain fluids, get that ready to go. Dad's still working over here.
Trying to figure out where up is. That hole right there. See that hole? Mm-hmm. The reason is because the ring gear shoves oil, goes down this channel, comes out, and runs right in that hole.
Ah.
Oils that bearing.
Very interesting. Okay, back to things. right, all set up. That didn't take too long.
Nope.
You happy with the pattern? Is this the last pattern?
Yep. So there's the drive side, there's the coast side. Looks pretty good.
Very nice.
Backlash is right, so I think we're good to go. I think I ended up with 8 or 9 thousandths more pinion shim than I've had before.
You only had 11,
I think
didn't
it
you?
ended up at 19, as I remember.
Gotcha. Okay.
So made a big difference though.
So out of all the shims you had last time, just wasn't enough shim. You didn't have that many shims.
I didn't have them. I put all. I knew when I did it that I needed more shims, and I didn't have
Yeah,
them.
there just wasn't an option. So this is all ready to go back in.
Yep.
And so that wraps up the rear end.
Yep. Onto the transmission.
So Mike and I got the transmission out, and Dad's gonna start tearing into that, get the gear set in. This really shouldn't take that long either.
It'll take, oh no, a couple hours probably.
Yeah, it's not that long because it's not like it's got to be, like we were talking about earlier, it doesn't have to be rebuilt.
Hopefully nothing's wrong because the fluid looked perfect.
Oh, this is the clearest I think I've seen the fluid in it.
Yeah. And it had, I don't know, it had your fastest passes on it and at least half
Yep.
of the drag week.
Yep.
And probably 500 or 600 street miles, so it's still clear. Should be good.
Yeah, and then we're doing some damage up here. Your building we're tearing up.
Yeah. Tearing up faster than I can put together.
They were good at that. Things are coming apart. It's going well.
I need directions.
Well, the good thing is we just take apart. He rebuilds, and then we'll put this back together later. This will have to go to Mike Henson's, take the block over there, and then block work done on it, and then bring it back and get it put back together. But the main thing is getting it out, so that way we can get it torn apart. Hopefully we don't find anything on that, but we will do an analysis on all of that and go through and check everything out, see how all that goes. So that's exciting. So I am working on taking turbo plumbing and things like that off, and then Mike is working on getting all the accessories off. We got the radiator and the methanol tank and all that off, so just taking pieces apart. It is so nice working on a tube chassis car compared to like working on the Camaro or the Nova, because it's just so accessible. Like taking the transmission out, so easy. We don't have trans tunnel. We have the belly pans below, so like taking transmission out, super easy to reach. The bolts and all that, so that's really nice. And then here, I mean, we're right here, front caps off. We don't have to deal with any of that, so it's pretty cool. So it's funny though, because like I was telling Mike, like we're kind of standing up here like, okay, what do we do next? Because like the Camaro was just effortless, like knew the steps, you know. It's just torn apart so many times, and this, it's like the first time I've torn apart, so figuring out what comes next. But anyways, what you thinking? We're doing pretty well over here destroying.
Think what?
Doing pretty well destroying.
Yeah. Just still a lot of stuff to go, unfortunately. But having the front off helps. Get the water pump off in the mid plate, and you got to take the steering shaft off. That sucks, but we do. I may cut that where I don't have to do that anymore. But then turbos.
Yep, I'm working on turbo stuff right now.
Before it's ready to come out.
Yeah, so we're making pretty good time.
Yep, I like it.
Okay, already busting into the transmission. We have our Pro Torque converter here, which did great this year, and coincidentally enough is actually built for the Nova. We put it in the 55, but Pro Torque Joe, talked to him at PRI, gonna send this one back. He's gonna freshen it up, so we have a spare for that. Also, because you're gonna get your transmission and engine back for the Nova, this can go back. But he's going to freshen that up, and he's going to send a fresh bolt together for the 55.
Triple throwdown bolt together. That's going to be nice, because if, like right now, when I take it apart, I'd like to unbolt it and clean it out good. I can't do that on the weld together type. So. And
that way, it's easy to take transmission, get the converter out with this. That way, if we want to make some adjustments, be bolt together, we can do it. Not the track. I don't want to do it at the track, but
well, we can though. But look at this. This is the fluid. This was, we use tractor fluid with a little bit of transmission fluid, so it has some color. But look how clean that is. I've been pouring it out, so
yeah.
This is it's not going to have anything wrong inside. That's not the reason it's coming apart. It's coming apart for the new gears, but I'm just impressed at how clean that fluid is.
So if you guys remember, when we were on race week, we had the seal that was either cut or whatever. It ended up busting when we were midweek, when we had the fluid pressure drop and all of that. So this is semi-fresh fluid, but it has 3 days. It's probably got 500 street miles on it, 600, and three very fast passes. All the fast passes were on this.
Yeah, and it should stay clean, but they don't always.
They don't.
Woulda, coulda, shoulda thing, but this is, sometimes you pull them down and they're dirty.
Yeah, so it's just nice to see good stuff, but just letting you know it's got some, it's not all very
crazy
safe.
Thing is, though, I can pull it down, the fluid will look, somewhat dirty. I don't ever see it burned, but you see enough stuff in the pan and what have you, you think it could be damaged, but you get in there and there's really never anything hurt.
Yeah, so he's pulling this apart. We're still taking 55
See,
apart.
that's just a little bit. It had brand new clutches when we did that thing with there at Jim Sam's shop. So,
yeah.
Shouldn't be anything wrong.
So, how far do you think you're going to break it down?
I'm going to at least tear it down just to inspect it. I'll probably put it back together in the morning, but it won't take 15, 20 minutes to tear it down.
Yeah. So,
I want to know. It's like, I pour a little feud gas in the converter, and I always check the sprag. So it goes, it's a one-way clutch. You can barely hear the diode. Everything sounds really good. It'll just freewheel this direction. It's not a fixed deal. It's got, what do you call it? I don't even remember. Spragless. It's not a spragless. That's a 1/8 mile dragster kind of thing. But this one's, it'll.
There you go.
It's nice and smooth sounding. Then you hear the little. Pretty good indication it's in good shape.
Pretty nice. So get this down. Not take everything apart, but just check it out. Make sure it all looks good. Then show them the new gear set. It's going to go in here, and then. That's pretty good.
That's
pretty good progress.
Pretty good
progress. Okay, last night when we left, the transmission was about to be ready to stack. You had a lot of pieces to put back together, though. It looked quite complicated. Working on the gear set. You said you got stacked this morning, but you didn't have enough in play, or possibly not have enough.
I've had it stacked multiple times trying to figure out what's the best way to create in play. If I was a transmission shop, I'd go get a thinner washer, but I don't have a thinner washer. So I've looked at everything, and what I'm going to try to do, and it's just stuck in there with suction literally from oil underneath this washer. I want to get this plastic washer out of here, thrust washer, and I'm going to sand on it just a little bit. I only need 2 or 3 thousandths.
Yeah, so not much, not too much. But then this will be stacked, and then this dude will be back together. Everything looks good.
Yeah,
looks good.
Everything's so cool in this. It's everything is aftermarket. Like, look at the 210. This is a 210 shaft, but it's all large shaft stuff. So everybody has a large shaft transmission, but what I'm saying large shaft is not just that input shaft, which is a large shaft, but the main shaft is also a large shaft. Let me give you an example. One of these, this one's a 300M shaft. This was a stock shaft, but we replaced this broken 300M shaft on drag week one time. I had to get going, so somebody had a stock shaft, I put it in. This snapped as soon as I hit second gear. As soon as I put this one in, this one made a few passes. As soon as I put this stock shaft in, it snapped it the first pass. But this is the difference between a large shaft and a stock shaft.
So that's the thing. We actually got into, as we were trying to get ready for drag week, even when you're looking for parts and you say that you have a big shaft, like the Pro Mod type Turbo 400. Tell your key thing on the side for the oiling where you can tell when somebody like.
Yeah, a lot of people say they've got the large shaft transmission, and I always look for the center support feeds oil right here if you have a true large shaft. So we have to steal it off of here, come back, and it feeds into the center support, which is an aftermarket piece. That's this billet piece, but it feeds oil in through there. And a standard Turbo 400 does not feed oil through here. It feeds through the shaft itself. These shafts are solid. So if somebody says it's a large shaft and it doesn't have that line feeding that center support, it's not a large shaft, at least not that I'm aware of. Cohen, as far as I'm understand, is the only one that makes a large main shaft, and this is a Cohen, so that's the way you have to oil. But you can see the difference. It doesn't look like a lot, but that's 125, 1.125. This one's 1 inch, so there's an eighth of an inch difference in those shafts. So that's a true large main shaft. So everything has to be different. It's very expensive to do. That center support's billet aluminum, all this stuff is totally aftermarket, like that right there. Typically you have I guess that's the sun gear, and the tube sits down in that, but that's all made together in one piece. So
pretty complicated actually, but when you did the Nova, that was, I don't remember how many years you made it with just a regular like Turbo 400. That was, I don't know, 2 years, 3 years.
What before it was turbo?
I'm trying to think, when did you switch to this one?
Well, I didn't make it. That was the problem. We had to baby it every time because it also had stock gear set. I had straight cut gears instead of helical gears in the rear, so it wouldn't thrust. And those lasted in the 55, and they lasted in whatever I put it in. But when we put the turbo in the heavy car, it's snapping those shafts like that. So.
But that was, I'm saying, like, you had attempted is what I should have said, 2 drag weeks with it?
Yeah, a couple different drag weeks. But we had to, the 60 foots were horrible. They were like 140 to keep it from snapping. And
it was
snap in second gear.
Yeah, and then switch to this. All this.
It's never snapped.
Don't jinx us. Knock on wood.
Yep. So what I'm doing now is upgrading the last shaft in it that was stock was the tail shaft. So I'm putting a 300M tail shaft in it, and this has got my clearances goofed up by a couple thousand. So I'm trying to create a little more clearance.
Okay, you finish stacking that. I'm gonna go back to tearing stuff up.
Right on.
55.
Yeah, don't tear it up. Take it apart.
Yeah, but you're
nicely.
putting stuff back together. It looks good over here, but it's just I don't like the tear part. I like the go back together part. So it's up in the air right now because I cleaned up the mess, but we have another mess. Just everything continues to leak. But going to drop this back down this morning and finish taking stuff off, and then pull that and tear that apart and go from there. Okay. You're still stacking, bud.
I got it all put together once. Now I got it back apart. But I guess when the drum wore out and we had to get that drum overnight.
Yeah.
Before what? Before either of the races,
Drag
right?
weight, yep.
I just put it in, didn't actually check in play or anything because we were in a hurry and it shouldn't be necessary. Yeah.
Should've worked.
But I just checked it because I'm doing a better upgrade, and there was too much in play on the front, so I've made a washer. I just made that spacer there. I'm getting ready to put the pump back in, so it had quite a bit of in play.
Swell. Okay.
For no apparent reason other than a different pump.
Okay, so then once this is in, my job is done, and I'm ready to pull stuff. So once he gets his job done, waiting on.
Read between the lines.
And Nolan from Iski just texted Dad and said that the cam is scheduled to go out on the 4th. So it's the 27th today, so that's a little bit. Hopefully we can get that quickly. Our friends at AFR checked on intake and exhaust valves today. Exhaust valves are in stock and intake gaskets, so those are going to ship second day, and then intake valves are on back order, so kind of waiting on that stuff. But as soon as that stuff's here, we will have everything ready to go. But that's our update on that stuff for today. And it's finally back together. Took you a little while.
Real nice. How long did it take?
It didn't take that long. But it just took longer than expected because the in-play was being kind of a pain. But you got that fixed?
Maybe next time we'll see how long it takes you to do it.
I knew it was going to bite me. He had to make a couple washers.
It took like what, 2-3 hours?
It really didn't take that long, but that is what you're doing. So it is back together, rear end ready to go in. Or third member ready to go in, whatever.
It looks nasty, but I don't want to do it without grease. I mean, without sealer. Must you watch what I do?
Yeah. Anyways, so that's good to go. Transmission's good to go, which means engine's almost ready to come out. Alright, engine is out. Poor 55 sitting over here, engineless. But I can't lie. First time pulling engine with this car, tube chassis car. I talked about it earlier, but it's so nice, so much easier. So It is on a stand. We had to do a little bit of shuffling because every stand is taken up right now. The engine that was out of the charger that we had, it is on a stand. We've got the COE motor on a stand. There's just, all the stands are taken up. So anyways, did a little bit of shuffling, got this on a stand, and yeah, we're getting ready to disassemble it. Gonna check it out. It was the engine that came out of the Nova, so keep that in mind. So it did have, you know, that, but it did have fresh bearings before it went in the 55. So we'll get to check all that out, see how it handled this year. There's no signs or reason to believe that there's anything wrong inside, so hopefully that proves to be right. But that wraps it up for this video. We'll disassemble and go over all that in a different video. But yeah, so that wraps it up for now. So stay tuned, and as always, be happy, go fast, and stay pretty. I will see you guys next time.